Yes, guys, welcome to SFeatleyF1, and we're doing a different sort of show actually. I think we did a show to rank all the circuits in F1. Well, this time and I've been meaning to do it for a while, so apologies I haven't done it in a while, but I'm doing it now. Getting it done today, and we're ranking the best F1 drivers uh, in the turbo hybrid era. So any drivers that have competed in the turbo hybrid era, when it rate them from trash to go. Um, uh, yeah, to see who's the best of that generation of drivers. Because obviously there's always one that's always great from every generation. Schumacher, Senna, Clark, Jackie Stewart, Nicky Lauda, Prost, so many big names throughout the sports history that have been the best of their generation. So we're going to go through them. And I thought I'd start with the one that's most modern so people sort of know who these people are. And that's obviously from the turbo hybrid era. So when I mean the turbo hybrid era, from when F1 went from a normally aspirated engine to what we have now, which are turbo hybrid engines, which are uh, basically a 1.6 litre turbo with a hybrid system on it. And that's been since 2014 to this present day. So all drivers that have competed from 2014 to now, we're going to rate. So let's get straight into it. Make sure also you leave your rating in the chat, in the comments as well. Get involved in the comments. We're more than happy to see what you think and feel for each one. So look at but make sure you do hit the like button, subscribe. We're 12, well, I think 12, 13 away from our first 100. So please, if you know anyone that loves Formula One, please get them to subscribe. It is the best place. It will be the best place you will get to find your F1 content, the latest F1 news as well. One of the best places on YouTube. Because you'll actually get someone that knows what they're talking about. There's some people that like did the last one, and they didn't. Hang on a minute. Right, there we go. Right, so there's a lot of drivers to go through. Now you could put in the chat whether I include the Russian drivers or not. So there's two or three of them. So you can decide whether they should be considered or not. That's Caue, Sorotkin, and Nikita Mazepin. So and it's a shame because Danny Caue was didn't really excel at Red Bull. He wasn't a bad little driver for AlphaTauri. So this is the list of F1 drivers from the turbo hybrid era. So where are we going to start? We're going to start with, I think we might start with like very, very easy sort of starters, and that is Will Stevens, for example. I'm going to start with him. Spent a season in 2016, I believe, as a manual driver. Didn't impress at all. So I'm going to put him in trash. Here's another Haas driver. Right, didn't excel, didn't sort of light up the scene. Is this another driver? Yeah, this is another one. Didn't excel as well. I thought I'd get these drivers out of the way. Like these was like Rossi as well. Didn't excel either. right. So I think that's most of them out of the way, pretty much. Oh, and Fittipaldi. The reason he's going to just he's never actually had a full chance. So make sure you big up David Doherty as well. Mate, you're more than welcome to come on. You know, you're in the chat, in our community chat. You're more than welcome to come on. Totally up to you. I have dropped the link in the chat if anyone does want to come on. By the way, so yeah, I'm gonna move on to. We're gonna start to go towards the front for a bit here. Now I'm gonna start with Jenson Button, for example. Jenson Button won his title in 2009. Big up, Adam. Hope you're well, mate.
Yeah, I'm good.
Right, Jenson Button won his championship in 2009. In terms of the turbo hybrid era, didn't really impress that well. He's one of them drivers that was like a Rosberg, to be honest. Where he needed a car that was significantly quicker to stand a chance of winning the title. 2 seasons that he was teammates, 3 seasons that he was teammates at Hamilton. He only beat him in the championship in 1 season. So Hamilton had him in both of the seasons. That wasn't Hamilton at his best at the time. So, where would you put Jenson Button? We've got trash, extremely poor, very poor, bang average, good, very good, top class, world class, or GOAT.
I'd put him in terms of like the turbo hybrid era, bang average or poor.
Well, no, just look. The reason I'm rating them in the turbo, when I meant turbo hybrid era, is anyone that's raced whilst it's been in that era. So you take a look at their career.
Or Jensen, then you'd put like good.
Good.
Good or bang average.
Well, he won the title in 2009.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say. Okay, he's not any of the 3, I'd say, but very good.
He's got to be up. He's got to be up there with one of the 3. He's won a title. Because you basically say, what would you put Danny Rick, for example?
Good.
Because I put Danny Rick as very, very good towards top class driver. Just hasn't had the card to win a title.
Okay, I'd put him top class then, Button.
That's the point. Is that he was lucky to find himself in an opportunity with a car to be able to challenge for the title and win it. Don't forget, he also had his teammate who was teammates with Schumacher for so long in Barrichello at the time. So, yeah, Button can go there. I'm going to go to. I'm going to go to Kubica.
Kubica, really not sure. Poor, but then again, if he didn't have that accident, I'd put him poor or bang average.
Do you know where I put him?
Where?
Good. Good. Because his career was about to take off.
Yeah.
Right, and then he had his that car that in 2011 was built around him. Then he had his accident. So, for me, he was tipped to be like one of those Danny Rick really cool drivers. Whether he would have won the title, I don't think so. But he's still a decent, very good driver. And obviously, with his disability when he came back, he was never the same. I do feel his disability was hampering him.
Yeah.
Now, please do put in the chat, by the way, should I include the the Russian drivers in this as well? The three that are Danny Kvyat, Sorotkin, and obviously we all know Nikita Mazepin as well. So if you want me to mark them, please do so. I have put them in there just in case. I'm going to move to I'm going to go to Romain Grosjean. For me, Romain Grosjean he was a good driver. For me, he was very consistent. It was more consistent after 2012, where no matter what he did at the first lap, he seemed to hit everyone. He sort of learnt his trade after that, and it's sort of like what Hamilton went through in 2011. And he learnt his trade, and he became a lot more consistent driver. And I got feedback.
Yeah, I'll put him good as well.
Yeah, because then he managed to lead the Haas team when they first got introduced into Formula. Whatever you're doing in your mic, put it back to where it was before, because now I'm getting feedback.
It's in the same position.
Right. Now I'm getting feedback. So yeah, Romain Grosjean, I'd say is good, to be honest. He was a leader in Red Bull. Leader in Red Bull, Ricardo. Spot on. Grosjean was good. Shame on the car. Good point. Very good point. It's just shame on the Haas car. And to be fair, when they first went into F1, they weren't that. Haas was always a decent team. They were 2018. They were very still one of probably one of the best of the rest. So yeah, I'm going to move on to Pastor Maldonado. He won one Grand Prix, but for me, he was crap. He was crap for me. No, he's Adam's gone for some reason. I don't know what everyone else is in the chat, but I'm going for Maldonado. I'm going to put him in poor, right? Because he was quick. He wasn't consistently quick. He had a lot of accidents, and the reason for that the reason he kept having lots of accidents is because it was always someone else's fault. I remember one time he jolted Hamilton into the wall in Valencia. All four wheels were off the circuit, right? And he literally cut across the chicane, a bit like what Verstappen did in Monza, and launched Hamilton into the wall when he had no right to be there, and then blamed it on Hamilton, for example. Yeah, for me, I'm gonna put I'm putting Maldonado crap, right? Because he was actually atrocious. Let's have a look. Was a good car. No worries, man. Might dead. I'm afraid to can't join. No worries. Big up. Yes, that's correct. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, mate. I'm gonna go to. I'm gonna go to Jolyon Palmer. Jolyon Palmer for me was again just he was very poor. Do you know what? I put him as a 2. I think he was extremely poor. Hulkenberg was managing to get something out of that Renault, right? he couldn't do anything. Right? He's better at his analysis, even though it's more, I'm going to stick in the middle no matter how bad the accident and how much it's someone else's fault. I'm going to stick down the middle with his opinion. Right? I do feel that he was shocking. He was a guy that just didn't deserve, just didn't need to be there. He was, I think he's like one of those drivers because his dad was in F1. He's in it, so, and he didn't last long. He lasted about what, 2 seasons tops, I think. Yeah, it was 2 seasons. So, yeah. Who else am I going to go with? I'm going to go with the rest are very poor. Right? His opinions in F1's are shit anyway. He whenever it came to the drivers' market period of F1, didn't perform, became inconsistent. So never got the driver he was supposed that he could have got. And yeah, and overall just didn't have the pace. Just didn't have the pace that what we expect from other drivers. So yeah, very poor for me. Because some people, it's all about just being quick. It's about being consistently quick week after week. So Kamui Kobayashi. I'm gonna put poor. I know he spent only the 2014 season in the Lotus, or Caue, sorry, as they called. But his record before that, he'd been a very decent driver for Sauber. Scored a podium at his home race. He wasn't a bad little driver, to be honest. So he's still not quite up to the level of being in the middle of it, but he was more on the poor side. But for me, he was not that bad compared to some others. Felipe Nasr, for example, as a someone who came in 2015, I believe. Felipe Nasr. Extremely poor. Did nothing, didn't he? Didn't improve. Didn't really sort of excel here in the seat. When you're in those sort of seats, you need to be performing consistently week after week to get the top team's attention. That's what Russell's been able to do, hence why he's now at the Mercedes seat. Brendan Hartley, I think, was just trash. He lasted literally not even the full season. Right? If you're getting replaced with literally 4 rounds left, so you know you're not coming back next season, that shows how shit you are. And he was shit. He was sometimes getting out qualified by the Williams, for God's sake. Who at the time were 2018, so they even had Russell back then to try and get him out of the fire. Right, let's go towards the front of it. Let's go. I'll go Fernando Alonso. Right, Fernando Alonso is absolutely world class. Right, world class. Right, you can't say GOAT because there's only one person that really can go there, to be honest. Otherwise, you wouldn't call it the GOAT, would you? Right, it doesn't make sense. But he's world class, without a doubt. Absolutely world class driver. Any team would find him an asset. I know I would, but there you go. Like, for me, I was surprised Ferrari didn't snap him up when he was free, but there you go. They went with Kimi Räikkönen instead. But maybe it would have been the same story. We don't know. We don't know whether it had been the same story or not. So there we are. Moving on, we're going to go to I think it was Guido van der Garde. Trash. Not even going to mention why. It's not worth the time. Stoffel Van Dorn. Trash. He was shit. He was always out qualified by his teammate. He was atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. Right. For McLaren. And doesn't deserve anything higher, to be honest. I'm gonna go to. Let's have a look. I'm gonna go to. Sutil. Very poor for me. Very poor. Been in multiple teams in the midfield. Where he would pick up points here, there. So he was a good midfield person. But if we're not here to talk about midfield, we'll talk about to see who's the best drivers, the best out the lots. And in terms of that, he doesn't get to. Yeah, it doesn't mean you deserve anything higher. Yeah. So make sure in the comments if you agree or disagree. So, Pascal Wehrlein, guy who was pretty much chucked aside as George Russell seized his opportunity at Williams. He had his opportunity to fit it when he signed for, I think it was Sauber, but it didn't pay off. So unfortunately, it meant that So sorry, my bad. Who are we going with? Who were we going with just now? I can't remember now. Who is it? If I can look at it. Oh yeah, Pascal Wehrlein. Didn't seize his opportunity. Extremely poor. I'm gonna look at today's grid, and I'm gonna look at Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc. What are we going with Charles Leclerc? Is it too early to call him world class, or do we class him as world class already? Because for me, he's world class driver, and he's going to win a title. There's no doubt about it. Right. But in terms of the current form, in terms of where his career at is a minute, you'd have to say top class. So, especially if Button's won a title as well. So, and he's top class. So, yeah, top class is like the max you can give for him. Sergei Sorokin. No, I'm gonna leave the Russian driver. Sorry. Max Chilton had 2 seasons. Didn't prove himself. Trash. Compared to his teammate, not good enough. Marcus Ericsson is an interesting character. Extremely poor, I would say. He'd have odd moments where he would perform well, but then that's about it, to be honest. Moving on to, I'm going to move towards Antonio Giovinazzi, who's now obviously left. Antonio Giovinazzi was turning into a decent driver, to be honest, until he left Olympiacos. Don't know why they let him go, but he wasn't a bad driver. Giovinazzi wasn't bad in places, but still very poor though. He had his moments, let's just put it that way. Right. Kimi Raikkonen, the Iceman himself, Kimi Raikkonen, the Iceman of the modern era. Obviously, we had Nick Hacken before him. Do it, put it in a, order it and put it in a 10 pint into a pint glass full of ice. The Iceman, yeah, maybe. Great character in the paddock as well, but on track, he's top class. You can't put anything lower because he's won a world title, and that was when he was at his prime. I think definitely when he was at his prime. Gonna move on to who will we go to next? Felipe Massa. Felipe Massa is a very good driver. Don't forget, he fought Hamilton tooth and nail to the top, last corner, the last lap of 2008, where he thought he'd won it. So 2008, yeah. So for me, he's very good. He was a very good driver, and unfortunately, he just missed out. Gutierrez. I didn't enjoy him, to be honest, because he'd throw his toys out the pram if things aren't going well. Right, and his attitude was a bit of a problem at times. Like even the Steiner had to point it out at times. Yeah, for me, his attitude was like that when he wasn't, even when he was not that good. So for me, like he deserves a he deserves definitely to be trash for me. Crap, absolute crap. Please make sure you do leave a like on the video. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. Really, really important you subscribe on Twitch and follow us on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, but most of all, subscribe to the channel at SFeatleyF1. So please make sure you go and do that. It's really important you do, especially as we move on to John Eric Verne, who spent he got a fair few chances at Red Bull Toro Rosso, never took them. While drivers came in and out, right? And hence why at the end of 2014 he was replaced by Carlos Sainz and who other than Max Verstappen. So, right, he was replaced by basically a 17-year-old. So, extremely poor. He'd have races where he was very good, but apart from that, his overall was not good enough. Very not good enough. Right, moving on. We're going to move to don't know about. Where do I put him? Yeah. Well, sorry, John. Who do we say next? Let's have a look. Who is going to go for next? Getting more towards the current grid now as well. We got Nico Rosberg. Nico Rosberg for me was top class, right? Because even though he won the title in 2006, he did win most of the races. I don't think he had the most led laps as well because of it. I think some of the statistics would have pointed towards Hamilton being champion. But because of his reliability issues, it opened the door to obviously Rosberg, who obviously had a car that was quicker than the nearest competitors, such as Red Bull and Ferrari. So, apart from special circuits like Monaco and that, so yeah, for me, like I'd say for me, Rosberg gets a. That's put him top class, to be honest, because despite that, Hamilton had schooled him most of the time as teammates. Absolutely schooled him. Right. And you could see in maybe not 2014, but definitely 2016. Right. Well, that we did see in 2014 in qualifying, but in the race, you could see the pressure was getting to him, and it got to him by deliberately driving into Lewis. I don't care what anyone says, he deliberately drove into Lewis. Right. By not giving Hamilton any room to turn. Right, and just staying straight on. And as soon as Hamilton had to turn the wheel to make the corner, right, and go into him, he then turns the wheel. Right, and he was punished for it, I believe, as well. Well, I believe he was punished, but there you go. But still, very good driver though. And I'd have to put him top class. Right. Who's next? We're gonna go with who are we gonna go with next? Jules Bianchi. We're gonna go with Jules Bianchi, which is such a tragic tale, to be honest, because I do think he would have gone on to win a title at Ferrari. Had he been given the opportunity, he would have been in that fight in 2017 and 18. Right, and what Montezemolo said, he was the next driver to replace Raikkonen, not Leclerc. Because Leclerc, obviously, who was related to him, came later. I do, yes, so I do feel that it's such a shame we didn't see that talent. I'm going to put him good, though, because he's one of the fair drivers that stood out in that team. You get ninth you get ninth on a dry circuit, by the way. Don't forget, it was like if some people compared it to Ayrton Senna at Monaco in 1984, right? But he did it in Monaco and that was full wet back when Senna did it. He did it in the dry and managed to get ninth, which I think is just absolutely mad. So I think it's very good, not just good, very good. But unfortunately, his accident cut short the career. Right, moving on. So I'm going to have to take a pause a little bit just to try and get my brain to think. It is a Wednesday after all, so gonna go for Danny Kvyat. I will do the other the Russian driver. Danny Kvyat I definitely will do because he wasn't. He had a timeout and he got a second bite of the cherry. No, Pierre Gasly sort of outperformed him in when he came. Did he outperform him when Pierre Gasly was then dropped from Red Bull? I don't know. Someone has to look that up. But for me, like Danny Kvyat is he was required to do something, I swear. But there you go. I do feel Danny Kvyat was not a bad little driver. So I'll put him bang average. Bang average for me. Let us know in the comments whether you agree or disagree. Right, let us know what you would suggest in there. I'm gonna put. I'm gonna go for who's next. Sawatkin was just trash. Let's put Mazepin there as well. Trash. I'll put Brendan Hartley's extremely poor. Actually, he did have one or two races that he excelled in, so I'll put him there. So moving on to the other drivers, Guan Yu Zhou. Can't really rate him really. He's only just started. So I'm not going to rate Guan Yu Zhou because he's only just started. Yeah, so who's next? Let's go for Mazepin's teammate, Mick Schumacher. Mick Schumacher, for me, has the potential to be a good driver. I think he's a decent driver already. I'll have to put him bang average just because of the restraints of the car he's in. But he's managed to get some results out of that car despite being at the back of the grid. So, yeah, for me, he's bang average. Tatooine, we did the celebration. Like, and Mick, I feel was, yeah, I think Mick will definitely be a star of the future. Just at the moment, I think his career is at 6. So, but obviously, I think with the expectation, it's going to improve. Right, trying to remember all these. Yeah, Guan Yu Zhou. Not going to mark him, like I said. I'm gonna mark. Right, sorry, I'll take another pause for a minute. Sonoda, very poor at the minute. Got to improve. He's got to step up and improve. He's got to step up and improve. At the moment, he's very poor. I'm going to go towards the front of the field. So Max Verstappen is world class because he's a world champion. Same, like, he's world champion for a reason. And what Alonso showed in Saudi Arabia in an Alpine is that if that car was last year's car and he was following behind Verstappen, he would have easily overtaken him. Easily. Right. Yeah, so like Max Verstappen, world class. Yeah. Hamilton, his rival from last season, is got to be at the top. There's no question about it. Hamilton is at the top. It doesn't matter if I'm a fanboy or whatever it is. In the turbo hybrid era, Hamilton is at the top. He is the only driver, like since 2014, Hamilton has been involved in every single title fight and title decider. He's only lost 2 title deciders since 2014 started. That's incredible. in fucking credible, right? There's no way you'll be able to do it there. For me, like it's gonna justify me not putting him any lower. Right, Hamilton is a goat of this era by a mile. I'm gonna go to Magnussen, K-Mag, who's come back this season. I think he's a bang average driver. He's not bad driver. I think he's all right. Big up Fredo. I hope you're doing well, my friend. If you haven't subscribed already, please do hit the like and subscribe. When will Lewis need a car? Would need the car fixed for to for to when will Lewis need his car fixed to be able to compete? Is basically what he's saying. I suggested by the third race we should see some developments on the car. They've already said they're going to bring updates for Australia to try and improve the porpoising that they've been struggling with compared to some teams. You've seen teams like Red Bull have really sort of cracked it, been able to run really low without the porpoising problem, because the higher your wide height is, the worse the problem is. Ferrari, though, they have a bit, they've managed to manage it. So we'll see what the upgrades are going to do. And of course, if you don't run the circuit, there's tons of places to hang out and actually get better strength wise. Because yeah, so let's go. Let's move on. Sorry. Valtteri Bottas, Lewis Hamilton's former teammate, Valtteri Bottas, never really had the pace to challenge Hamilton, did he? Never did. Right. It wasn't the fact that it was all surrounded by Hamilton. It's just Bottas, though he would win the odd race or two, couldn't do it on a consistent basis. And in F1, standards are so high, you have to do it on a consistent basis. You have to. Especially when you've got fixtures like Villarreal coming up. Then you've got so many other games as well. So, yeah. Who else am I going to pick? Who else am I going to pick? Don't know. Let me have a look at the comments as well. Yeah, so I would say Australia, mate, is when I expect it. Big up Static. Bottas between average and good. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So, where's Bottas? Where did I put him? Where did I put Bottas? Why did I put him there? He doesn't deserve to be there. He's between. I'm gonna put him good because he was Hamilton's teammate for so long and they've won 7. He was part of one of the most successful partnerships in Formula One. Like, he spent 5 seasons of Formula One helping them win both titles, even last season where it was looking like the Red Bull were going to beat them, and probably should have beat them because they had the faster car. To be honest, most of the season the car was faster. So there we are. I'm going to move on to Hulkenberg. Actually, he's in and out like a yo-yo. Hulkenberg, I think, is a very good driver. He proved it in 2020. Actually, parachuted in, been able to get points, 3rd place on his return, though he was apparently supposed to be resting. Like, he was absolutely ecstatic that I think, yeah, Hulkenberg is a very good driver for me. He's when he got the chance to prove it again. he was very pleased with his performance after he proved it again. So that's what I was trying to say. So I would say he's absolutely ecstatic, but there you go. So good, I would say. Good. Right. Right, let's have a look. Where did I put him? My memory's going very quickly. Something. Yeah, I put him in good, didn't I? My memory's going very quickly. Shit. I'm gonna go with Alex Albon. Now Red Bull see him still with talent because they're only loaning him to Williams, but then they're not giving him a seat, and he's not impressed when Hamilton's got back and everything like that. I think Vettel is world class. I hear you on that one. Hulkenberg, good. I hear you on that one as well, my brother. My bro. Yeah, for me, Alex Albon is very poor. Never took his opportunities. He's very lucky he's got a second opportunity. We'll see if he takes it, but at the moment, he's very poor because he hasn't succeeded in his opportunities that he's been given. He was fighting a lifeline when Pierre Gasly was dropped. So, well, a chance to cement his position in the Red Bull team. And now his future's uncertain because it's only a year loan. I'm going to go with, like I said, I'm going to go with Sebastian Vettel, actually, since Fredo mentioned it in the chat, my friend. And I agree with him. Vettel is world class. Vettel is world class, right? If you're going by season, right, and ranking them 7 titles, 6 titles, 5 titles, 4 titles, 3, 2, 1, and so forth, Vettel would be up there, 2 clear of Verstappen. It's all right winning one half of what you're winning, but then he hasn't really excelled after that, has he? So, yeah. Yeah, so Vettel, despite his career after Ferrari, yeah, very world class. Right, despite having a very good car in 2010, right, he still had a major fire on his hands. Only led the title once in that whole season, and that was at the end. When it's the most important because that decides when you win the title or not. Also, he had to deal with the press writing him off. He also, the next season, proved it to everyone why he's that good. He also, 2012, they didn't have a faster car, but they only had a faster car until they did have the faster car. McLaren did. They had the second fastest car, and it was a car that had to be developed because they lost pace over the winter because of the adaptation to the cars. And yeah, didn't work still. So for me, yeah, world class because of his previous successes. What am I about? In his legendary, hey mate, I love the humour, man. I love the humour. Big up, Steak. I hope you want my friend. Good show. Thank you, my bro. Thank you. I'm sorry if I feel a little bit off. I'm feeling as though I'm repeating shit or not making sense a little bit. Sometimes I've had to take some painkillers today. So I've been in pain, and sometimes it can make you very confused or a little confused. So if I'm a bit slow or I'm repeating shit, I do apologise. Or not making sense. Latifi, for me, has had 2 seasons and done fuck all, actually. I think Latifi's just shit. I don't know why he's there. There's plenty of other drivers down in that lower categories they can choose from. Lawson, I think, could deserve a shout. He's on the Mercedes program, I believe. But yeah, there's a number of drivers. No, he's not. Lawson's not on he's on the Red Bull program, isn't he? That's why his car's in Red Bull. Right. So at least that's one thing with Red Bull. You know who's knows your customer, if basically what I'm saying. But yeah, like the TV's not been good enough. Simple as that. Right, so it gets interesting now. Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez for Red Bull. I'll be okay today. I should be, man. Hopefully I'll recover a little bit. See if you poor. Okay. Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. If anyone could share it afterwards, after we finish, or even during the stream, would be really helpful as well. Just try and get us up to that 100. Right, get us up to that first 100. It's really important if you could do that. Valtteri Bottas. Let's zoom in a little bit. There you go. Zoom in a little bit. So yeah, Sergio Perez are talking about did very well. He did very well at Force India. Remember his first race was in Australia, right? Which, by the way, I will be covering over in the preview, right? Because apparently of its record number of DRS zones. Perez, his first race out Australia, you had Mercedes doing 4 stops. He managed to do the whole race on a 1 stop, where most people were doing 2 or 3 because they can handle the tyres. Whereas he managed to get the tyres to do 1 stop. He's always been very good at looking after the tyres in this in the 2011, which is when he started, right? So when Pirellis were introduced, he's always been very good at it. Very, very good. And you can see it in some of the results. But like to come from last, I know there's a lot of luck to have in there, where the safety car came out at the right time. Mercedes screwed up their pit stops, otherwise Russell would have gone on to not just overtake Bottas, but take Perez towards the end. He had enough laps to clear the rest of them, because they would have had no answer against the Mercedes. They were 17 quicker by that. But to manage to still keep your concentration and win that Grand Prix, right, is absolutely incredible, right? And I saw some reaction to it, like I felt sorry for Mexico because they've done so well, yet we didn't get to the target they wanted, which was like getting furthest as far as they could in the World Cup. Oh, on the Euros, even the World Cup or the Euros, right? But Perez, Perez deserved his chance at Red Bull. Played the ultimate team game last season in the last race, twice. But yeah, he did what he had to do. I don't think it would have made a lot of difference, to be honest, but there you go. So for me, what am I going to give him? Oh, I did mark him. I put Perez. Where did I put Perez? Poor. No, he's not poor. He's top class. Like, just because of how he performed last season. George Russell. George Russell's interesting because obviously we've only seen what he could do at Williams, but we're still waiting to see what's going to happen at Red Bull. By the way, this season, no, I'm a Hamilton fan. I am supporting more like Mercedes a bit more than I was last season because I'm also celebrating. If I celebrate the Hamilton's teammate to win the race, right, I'll be still supporting an English driver or a British driver, someone of my nationality, right, and someone as a representation of diversity is Lewis Hamilton. So yeah, I do feel that Russell will learn a lot of having Hamilton there as his teammate, and I still think he'll be fast enough to put the performances that needs be. He's already doing that. He's already doing it, mate. He's already doing it. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. Yeah. We're going to go with. Still sticking with. Oh, sorry. My bad. Yeah, George Russell for me will be a star of the future, and I'm going to put him. I'll put him very good for now. Very good. Very good. I'll put him very good. That's all I'm doing so far. He will get further and further up the field, but very good for me. Let's have a look. Right, moving on. Esteban Ocon, who's won a Grand Prix compared to actually Russell, he's won a Grand Prix, but then again, he hasn't showed the pace consistently. I think a year break away from Formula One did him good, so he's come back a better driver for it. And yeah, no doubt Perez would have got a call after the Horner's win and said, well done for the pit stop palaver again. And also, don't forget to back up anyone that comes in your way. So, but look, Ocon, I feel last season, what he did last season in the Force India was quality. In the Force India was quality. Right, to keep Vettel behind a four-time world champion, lap after lap after lap, right? Because you know your car's probably not as quick, and you kept him behind despite even if there were any air in it. I would say Ocon gets a 7. Oh, good. Sorry. No, very good. I think good or very good. I'll leave that to you to decide. I'm saying very good. What else are you gonna do? Moving on. Who am I going to move on to as we tip over the hour mark? Not long now. I said Zhou, I'm not going to mark because it's too early. Not Stroll, why it's not Stroll gives me examples of why the hell are you in this sport. Then he comes up with a couple of decent performances, but I think overall, most of the time, people are going to be sitting there, why is he here? And we all know why, because his dad owns Aston Martin. Right? So simple as that. So, or the company that owns Aston Martin. So, well, yeah. So that's probably the main reason why. So if anyone's going to lose their job at Red Bull, it's going to be a long, long day. Yeah. So. Let me have a look. Where did I start? Where did I start? Before failure. Look, I think Ocon doesn't matter. I think Ocon would get a good for me. Solid driver. Right, let's have a look. Not long now. Carlos Sainz, I think, is a very good driver as well. I think he's a top class driver. He's not that far off. Actually, do you know what? People underrate him a lot. If you look at the stats so far this season and also last season, he's not actually been that bad at all. So if we're all thinking Leclerc's going to win the title, we need to do something about Leclerc. Right, let's have a look. Ocon. Where am I at? Where am I at? Sorry. Oh, I forgot to put Armstrong, like, Paul. Sorry. Oh, yeah, Danny Rick. Sorry. Danny Rick. And like I said, I just stream if things have not been sounding too much sense or anything like that. It's just like the effects of having to take some painkiller earlier today, just to do with the health. So it should be better, hopefully, later on. Danny Rick. So I'm going to put me good. And that's depending on a stat that someone showed me the other day about our last 5 games and what we've been able to do in those games in terms of creations. What am I on about? Talk about F1, Danny Rick. Talk about football. When we talk about football, fuck's sake. Phone's frazzled. My bad. My bad. Yeah, Danny Rick for me gets. Yeah, he gets a 7. Yeah, he gets a good. Actually, no, he is a very good. Norris, I think, as well, has shown that he's up there. And then lastly, I believe one more driver is Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly won that race with AlphaTauri in the dry compared to Vettel in the wet. And yeah, has produced brilliant results since being dropped by Red Bull after first being promoted from AlphaTauri to Red Bull, then was dropped. So very good driver, very good. I'm going to put very, very good. But there you go. That's my all of the rankings of all the drivers from the turbo hybrid era. Zhou is just an NA, so I can't really mark him. But if I'd have to put standard 5, because obviously we can't, like. Actually, do you know what? No. Let's say this one now. People were questioning about him having, and people were always questioning about having a water bottle with you. And again, water you've got to drink. I think what he's managed to do. Zhou, he's just a standard 5. He's going to be able to prove himself. So that's what I'm saying. Anyway, we're going to have to wrap it up there because, as you can tell, I'm not quite with it. And need to rest before my next stream if I'm going to be able to do it. I do apologise if it sounded a bit off. But yeah, I will be back with another stream tomorrow. So make sure you tune in then, because we should be free tomorrow. So make sure you tune in then. Next Thursday, 8 p.m. No. So yeah, 8th. Yeah, the next one will be tomorrow. Talking about what we're talking about tomorrow. Oh, Mercedes and their actual problem with their car. But there you go. Make sure you hit the like, share, subscribe. Catch us here. Catch us on SFeatleyTV as well, where we do the same for Arsenal football content, but we make any money we make on that channel goes to charity. So please do so and go and do that right now. But until then, everyone stay safe, guys. Stay well, and I'll see you soon in another video. But until then, bye bye. And again, apologies if it has sounded a bit off, but yeah, love you guys. Take care.